Today we're going to make an artwork inspired by the artist Kandinsky. This artwork is going to include watercolor and some cut paper collage, and the theme is going to be hearts. First, we need to fold our paper. We're going to fold it in half. So here you can see I'm folding it in half, then in half again, and in half once more. Crease it, open it back up. Let's count. Let's see how many sections we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure yours has 8 too. Now I need to paint each section on my piece of paper. I'm going to use watercolor paint for that. Here you can see my watercolor paint palette. I have a variety of different colors. And then I have a little bit of water right here in part of the lid of the paint palette. You can definitely use a cup if that would be easier. I'm gonna dip my brush into the water and then into the paint in order to activate the watercolor paint. Now I'm just gonna pick one section on my piece of paper to start with, and I'm going to use the creases on the paper as my borders for each section. When I'm ready to switch colors, I'll need to dip my brush back into the water to swoosh it and remove the paint in the brush. Then I can pick a new color to dip my brush into. Remember to swish your brush in the water between colors. In order to make your design look more cohesive, you may want to repeat at least a couple of the colors. So I'm going to do that with this yellow color. I'm going to pick another section up here and use that same color. You could also repeat a variation of a color. So here I had a light purple, and here I'm going to use a darker purple. I have 2 more sections, so again I could pick brand new colors, or I could repeat an existing color. Okay, we are done with that step. I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. Now I've gathered a bunch of different pieces of paper. Some of this is scrapbooking paper and it has patterns on it. And then some of these other pieces are just solid pieces of paper similar to construction paper or cardstock paper. Pen or a pencil, as well as a pair of scissors. And I'm going to select several pieces of these papers that I know I want to use, and I want to draw hearts on them. So this is the color paper that I would like to use first. So I'm going to start by drawing a few small hearts. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut these out. First, when I start cutting, I'm going to cut a basic shape around the hearts and remove that excess paper. Then I'm going to just cut in big lines with lots of space around the different hearts. Now I can hold just one heart at a time and begin to cut that out. You'll notice when I'm cutting, I'm not cutting using the tips of the scissors. I am cutting further back on the blade of the scissors. And I'm just cutting slow and steady, rotating my scissors or rotating the paper or both as needed. Good. And now I can set aside the excess paper. Now there's still more room on this paper where I could draw another heart or another student could draw a heart. So I'm not going to throw this out. I'm going to set this aside for someone else to use. And here's one of my hearts. Now one thing you might notice is you can see a little bit of the pen that I used to draw on the heart. So a tip for next time, you could try and draw the hearts either on the back of the piece of paper or luckily with the heart shape, you can just flip it over and now you'll no longer see the pen lines, which is great. And that's what I'm planning on doing. So I can set that aside and now I can begin to cut out some more of these hearts. Okay, so I set aside my scrap pieces of paper for someone else to use, and I have some of my hearts here, and I'm ready for the next step. Now we're ready for the next step. Select one heart to start with. Use this one, and I'm going to select a piece of scrapbooking paper that I would like to glue this heart to. Our hearts will be layered during this project, and each layer will be attached using glue. I like how this pattern looks, so I'm going to take my glue. You could use a glue stick, you could use liquid Elmer's glue. Currently I have Mod Podge, which is a type of glue. It's kind of like glue and water mixed together. It's thinner than liquid Elmer's glue. So I'm going to dip my paintbrush into the Mod Podge. I'm going to flip over my heart so I can see the back of it, and I'm going to add some of my Mod Podge or my glue to the back. Okay, set down my paintbrush, and I'm going to set the heart down on top of the scrapbooking paper. That'll need a little bit of time to dry, but one thing I am going to go ahead and do is cut a wide area around the heart. I don't want to cut too close. Notice how wide I'm cutting. Once this is dry, I'll be able to cut around the heart some more, but for now I'm going to set this aside over here. Now I have some other hearts that I need to glue down, so I'm going to pick a different color for the next one. Maybe I'll use pink. I'm going to take my heart, dip my brush in the glue, brush that on, and notice I'm not going to glue this in the middle of the paper. That's going to be wasteful when it's time to cut it. I'm going to put it near a corner or near an edge. But you'll also notice I didn't put it all the way touching the edge. I want to leave some room around it. If there's any extra glue that's squeezing out from below the heart, just wipe it with your finger. I'm going to cut around it and then set it aside to dry. Instead of having the same color for my smallest hearts for all of them, I think I might set these aside in the pile that someone else could use, and I'm going to draw 2 more hearts on a different colored piece of paper. Use my scissors to cut those out. I'm going to cut these apart and then cut out the individual heart shape. And remember, if you can still see some of the pen or pencil line from where I drew the heart, that's okay, because I could flip it over and use the back. Okay, if you're going to do that though, you do need to double check that you are using paper that is double-sided. Sometimes the scrapbooking paper is just white on the back, like with this one, but sometimes it's double-sided, like with this one. So just make sure you double check and you're aware of the type of art supplies that you're using. Okay, so I have these 2 hearts. I'm going to set my extra paper over to the side. I'm going to pick a new background color for one of these. I might use this pale yellow. I'm going to select one of the hearts, paint on a little bit of the glue, set that down near an edge or near a corner. Cut that out. Okay, set it aside. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts I'm working on, but let's check this paper. How many sections do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I have 5 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I need 6, 7, and 8. So I need 3 more hearts to work with. So I'm going to pick another color. I might use this light pink, and I'm going to draw out 3 more hearts. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to cut that out. Okay, now let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hearts for the 8 sections I have on my piece of paper. Now I'm going to start with the ones I glued down first because those should be dry enough, and I'm going to cut around them in a heart shape. Notice I'm leaving a little bit of space, so this is how I'm going to make all of the layered hearts. Okay, so this is 1. Set aside my excess paper, set that down. Okay, so these are my hearts currently. So now I need to repeat steps again. I need to find other colors of paper or other backgrounds and continue to glue and cut my pieces of paper. So I like this solid green. I might start with this next. I'm going to start with this heart, add some glue to the back, and glue that near an edge or near a corner on this piece of paper. And I might add at least 1 or 2 more hearts to this same piece of paper as well. Okay, I've given these some time to dry. Gonna cut around them, always cutting in a heart shape or a heart outline all the way around. I'm gonna set them on top of this and see if I need one more layer or if this is enough. Now, when I look at these hearts compared to the background, many of them still have extra space around them. So that tells me that I need to do at least one more layer of paper behind each of these hearts in order for them to better fill up the space. I glue that down right there. Okay, now I have 4 layers on each of my hearts and I can glue them to my background. I'm gonna select one heart at a time and add glue to the back of it. And I'll hold it for a few seconds. This is my finished Kandinsky inspired heart artwork.